The Philadelphia Eagles had their offseason ranked by ESPN. Where do you think that they came in on the list? And more importantly, do they have one final move to put the icing on the cake? We'll talk about a proposed mock trade and whether it makes sense. But welcome into A to Z Philly. I'm RB. Do us a favor, like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the coverage. I want to start off with this awesome picture from the Philadelphia Eagles Twitter page. They were putting out a lot of these little photo ops here, and Jalen Hurts just looking incredible, man. Incredible. Look at him screaming. If this photo doesn't get you hype, I don't know what will. There was a ton of these. There was Lane Johnson, Brandon Graham. There was one with Cooper DeJean and Reed Blankenship where people are giving them nicknames. If this doesn't get you hype, I don't know what will, man. I cannot wait until training camp next month. Also, the Philadelphia Eagles received the best offseason grade in the NFL. That's right. ESPN has them at number 1. Just like we have been saying, Howie Roseman pushed all the right buttons. The Eagles have done everything they can this summer to get them back in a position to succeed. Will the coaches live up to the hype? Will the talent produce? Can this team get back on track to get back to the Super Bowl this season? Quote, their 2024 offseason set them up to be Super Bowl contenders once again. Now, the question is, do they have a final move in them? Matter of fact, will they trade this piece? I believe they will, and I think the writing is on the wall, and it pertains to James Bradberry, who we have talked about multiple times, and there was an article put up here on Fan Nation Eagles Today. The Jaguars emerging as a team linked to the Eagles Pro Bowl cornerback in a possible, quote, shocking trade this summer. And this was written by Patrick McAvoy. Could the Eagles actually end up making a trade this summer? Absolutely, right? Look at all the clues. James Bradberry doesn't show up for multiple OTA workouts. Then he shows up and at the mandatory minicamp last week, and he gets injured. He doesn't practice, right? You got to know what's going on here. He's walking across the field with the coaches. I'm not saying he didn't get injured at all, but it feels like he's at a point where, why am I going to suit up and try to go out there and compete if I know that I'm not going to have a job at all, right? Trade me somewhere where I can go play. And it wasn't so long ago where this guy wasn't successful. You know what I mean? Like a couple years ago, he helped this team. He was instrumental in getting to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, everybody collapsed last year, and they go out, they draft Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. They have all these guys now fighting for these spots, and you just know most likely at this point that James Bradberry does not have a role in this team. They try to move him to safety. He knows what's going on here. The Eagles, I believe, will trade him soon. Question is, what can they get back? So in this article here, this mock trade says, will the Philadelphia Eagles look to make a deal before training camp? They have a significantly better roster on paper than when the 2023 season came to a close. While this is the case, the Eagles still may not be done. Cornerback James Bradberry is on the roster, although some have speculated he could end up leaving the team through a trade or by being cut. And yeah, of course he could be cut, but the fact that he isn't already shows me that Howie Roseman is doing his due diligence and trying to at least get back maybe a draft pick or something in exchange for James Bradberry. The Eagles have moved him to safety in order to fill a bigger roster need, but still have speculated a move could be coming. Now, Bleacher Report's Gary Davenport put together a list of 8 shocking trade proposals this summer and linked James Bradberry to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the mock trade, ladies and gentlemen. Jaguars get James Bradberry, and in exchange, the Eagles get a 6th-round pick. Is that fair compensation? Is that the level we've reached? Is that how bad James Bradberry was this past season? I think teams around the league are probably looking at this going, well, maybe we could get a piece to come in and try to revive himself and be better. Maybe a team like the Jags need help in that area, but they're not going to give up probably more than a 4th-round pick, a 5th-round pick. So when I look at this, yeah, it kind of does make sense for me. And, how he's going to go through the process, try to pry as much as he can from these different teams, field some offers. But if we get to training camp, maybe if we even get later on and we're getting closer to the season and teams get desperate, maybe they could bite. But I think a 6th-round pick probably makes sense at this point. I mean, even look like what Reddick was traded for. They're not going to get too much for him, right? It says, there looks to be 3 tiers of teams in the AFC South this season. The Texans, who appear the clear favorites. Then there's the Titans, who essentially have no shot. Damn. That's frustrating. They just got obviously a huge corner as well. And then there's the Jacksonville Jaguars and Indianapolis Colts, who could, in theory, challenge the Texans if things break the right way. Finding veteran cornerback help this late in the offseason is not easy. Teams are usually loath to part with even marginal talents at a position where depth can be hugely important. But as it happens, there's a former Pro Bowler who might just be available. The shock would be that a player who just 2 years ago was a second-team All-Pro who also has a Pro Bowl on his resume would all but be given away. Perhaps a change of scenery would rekindle his career, and an improved Jaguars secondary would help their chances of keeping up with the Texans. Bradbury spent the last 2 years with the Eagles. Some think his days may be numbered. No, we know they are numbered. And at this point, I think it makes sense to move off James Bradbury. It's unfortunate the way that it worked out for him here in Philadelphia. I don't think he's the main culprit. I don't think he's, the scapegoat, and I don't think he's the guy that should be pinned here. But when push comes to shove, Howie Roseman will do what is needed. He's trying to get younger, more athletic. James Bradbury's getting up there, and Howie doesn't want to pay him the money. Simple as that. I think this is a realistic trade, and I do believe Bradbury will be moved, whether that's before training camp or maybe a little after when teams, start to look for some of these final guys and try to fill out their rosters. So you give me your thoughts down below in the comment section. Do you think James Bradbury has any shot of remaining with the Philadelphia Eagles, or will he be traded? Give me your thoughts. Appreciate everybody tapping in. Also, real quick, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor of today's video. It is the great BetMGM. Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up using our code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you do not win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to parlays, live bets, player props, and daily boosted odds specials. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. So go ahead and find out why BetMGM is the king of sportsbooks. Sign up today with the bonus code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you do not win your first bet. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions.